हेलो फ्रेंड्स। तो आपका स्वागत है पार्ट 2 ऑफ एथिक्स जीएस 4 पेपर। तो यस्टरडे हमने क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 तक कंप्लीट कर दिया था। आज अपन क्वेश्चन 8 से स्टार्ट करेंगे। और अब जो फॉलोइंग क्वेश्चंस है, टू सेव द टाइम, मैं ऑलरेडी चैट जीपीटी से आंसर्स टाइप कर दिए। तो हम सीधा क्वेश्चंस पढ़ेंगे, उसका आंसर्स देखेंगे और आगे बढ़ेंगे। तो जो क्वेश्चन नंबर 8 है, तो वो आप स्टोरी समझ लीजिए जम्मू कश्मीर की है, जहाँ पे due to the high unemployment, like the youth is moving toward the getting affected, getting influenced by the some people who are terrorist organization. तो उसको वो सॉल्व कैसे करेंगे, वो ही है। तो आप पढ़ लेते एक बार। रमन इज a senior IPS officer has recently been posted as DG of state. Among the various issues and problem challenge which needed his immediate attention, the issue relating to the issue relating to recruitment of unemployed youth by an unknown terrorist group was a matter of grave concern. It was noted that the unemployment was relatively high in the state. The problem unemployment amongst the graduate and those with higher education was much more grave. Thus, they were vulnerable and soft targets. In the review meeting taken by him with a senior officer DIG range and above, it came to light that a new terrorist group has emerged at the global level. It has launched a massive drive to recruit young unemployed people. Special focus was to pick young people from particular community. The said organization seems to have clear objective of using them for carrying out militant activities. It was also gathered that the said new group is desperately trying to spread its tentacle in his state. A definite, reliable intelligence tip was received by the state CID. This is CID, I guess, and a cyber cell that a large number of such employed youth have already been contacted by the terrorist outfit group through social media and local communal organization and other contact. The need of the hour was to act swiftly and to check these element designs before they assume the serious proportion. Discreet inquiries made by the police through cyber cell revealed that the good number of unemployed youth are very active on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. On an average, many of them were spending 6 to 8 hours each day using electronic device, internet, etc. It also came to light that such unemployed youth were showing sympathy and endorsing the message received from certain persons, allegedly the contact person of that global terrorist group. The social media accounts reveal that there is strong affinity to such group, in as much as many of them started forwarding anti-national tweet on their WhatsApp and Facebook. It seemed that they succumbed to their ploy and started propagating secessionist ideology. Their posts were hypercritical of the government's initiatives, policies, and subscribing to extreme belief and promoting extremism. So, what are the options available to Raman to tackle the above situation? तो अगर ऐसा होता तो क्या करेंगे? तो उसमें जो फर्स्ट वो करेंगे, वो इमीडिएट क्रेकडाउन ऑन एक्सट्रीमिट activities. Initiate immediate police action on those already identified as sympathizer of the terrorist group. Arrest or detain individual found endorsing anti-national sentiment. Second is enhance cyber surveillance. Strengthen the cyber cell efforts by intensifying monitoring of social media and other digital platforms where recruitment is taking place. Regularly track suspicious activities and commu- communication patterns. Community engagement and counseling. Education awareness campaign. Legal measures. Leverage existing anti-terror law to take actions against individual and organization spreading extremist ideology. Collaboration with central agency. Collaborate with national intelligence agency like NIA and RAW to track global operation of the terrorist group and disrupt its local contact. Second question was, what measure would you suggest for strengthening the existing setup to ensure that such group do not succeed in penetrating and vitiating the atmosphere in the state? So the first we will do is comprehensive de-radicalization program. Second is strong social media monitoring through cyber cell. And third is employment and skill development initiative. Work with various government and non-government organizations to offer skill development, job fairs, and entrepreneurship training program directly addressing the unemployment issue. Public-private partnership for employment. Increase community policing. I know you, I think you are aware about the community policing. Expand the reach of community policing initiative where local officers engage with residents regularly, building trust and identifying early signs of radicalization. In above scenario, third question is, What action plan would you advise for enhancing the intelligence gathering mechanism of the police force? So real-time digital surveillance tools invest in advanced surveillance tools that can track suspicious online behavior across social media platforms, utilize AI-driven algorithm to detect extremist content, keyword, and behavioral pattern. Second is strengthen local informant network. They include integrating community leaders, teachers, and social workers into the intelligence apparatus. Interagency collaboration focus on predictive policing. Now, what is this predictive policing? Use of predictive policing model to identify hotspots of radicalization and extremism. This can help allocate police resources more efficiently. Training and capacity building. Regularly train officers on modern intelligence gathering technique, including cyber intelligence, human intelligence, and the use of technology to counter terrorism operation. Anonymous reporting channel. Create anonymous reporting mechanism for citizens to report suspicious activities that is similar as local informant network. By addressing both the root cause of unemployment and enhancing the intelligence network, Raman can mitigate the terrorist group influence and prevent the situation from escalating. Now next question is question number 9. ये जो क्वेश्चन है इसमें ये है कि विद मतलब वहाँ पे नक्सलवादी चीज़ें बहुत बढ़ गई है, लेकिन जो अपना जो ऑफिसर है उसने बहुत हद तक उसको कंट्रोल कर लिया है थ्रू डेवलपमेंट, और उन्होंने लोगों का ट्रस्ट जीतने की कोशिश की। लेकिन अभी उनको एक इन्फॉर्मेशन आई कि एक गांव में 10 लोग हैं, कुछ लोगों पे इनाम जो टेररिस्ट जो नक्सलवादी लोग हैं, कुछ जो 10 है जो नामी नक्सलवादी है, उन पे कुछ 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 लोगों पे तो इनाम भी है, वो लोग उस गांव में है। तो जो ऑफिसर है वो वहाँ जाता है, उनको उनका उनको मतलब पकड़ भी लेता है, लेकिन बाद में पता चलता है कि जो आसपास के गांव की जो औरतें हैं वो लोग गांव को घेर लिया है और उनकी तरफ मार्च कर रही है। और वो रोहित है जो मतलब ऑफिसर है, वो कांटेक्ट कर अपने सीनियर्स को, लेकिन वहाँ कांटेक्ट भी नहीं हो पा रहा। तो इन केस में वो क्या करेगा, ये सब सिचुएशन है। तो ये पूरा यही है सिचुएशन। आप इसको पढ़ना चाहो तो पढ़ लेना। नाउ द क्वेश्चन, फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट आर द ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल विथ रोहित टू कोप विथ सिचुएशन? व्हाट आर द एथिकल डिलेमास बीइंग फेस्ड बाय रोहित? तो व्हाट आर द ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल, उसके लिए तो ये है negotiate and engage. Rohit can try to calm the tribal women by engaging with them through negotiation, explaining the legal implication of harboring Naxalite and the harm they bring to the community. They could buy time and diffuse tension without restoring to force. Second is non-lethal crowd control. It's like using tear gas, like water cannon तो कहाँ से आएगा, or batons to disperse the crowd while ensuring the safety of both his team and civilians. Then third is security reinforcement. What he can do is he can send a team he can send a member of his team to nearest police post to secure backup, additional resources, and perhaps establish better communication with senior officers. और महिला आ रही है तो महिला पुलिस आएगी तो ज़्यादा बेटर रहेगा। Second, third, this fourth one is strategic retreat. If negotiations or crowd control measures fail and the threat of civilian casualty become imminent, Rohit could consider temporary retreat, securing the captured Naxalite but moving his team to a safer location. Use of force as a last resort. Rohit can choose to fire in self-defense if the situation turns violent. However, this should be avoided due to the potential loss of civilians' lives and the damage it would cause to police-community relations. What are the ethical dilemmas being faced by Rohit? Use of force versus civilian safety. Rohit faces the ethical dilemma of whether to use the force to maintain the law and order, which could lead to the loss of innocent life, or to allow the insurgent to escape, undermining the police authority. Second is justice versus public sentiment. Rohit must balance the importance of bringing the insurgent to justice with public with the public sentiment of the tribal community who see Naxalite as their protector. Law enforcement versus human right. मतलब similar ये सब चीजें. Rohit has to decide between the enforcing of law by arresting dangerous insurgents and the ethical obligation to protect the human right of civilians, especially women in the sensitive situation. Short-term decisions versus long-term consequences. Any wrong decision in the heat of moment could either lead to immediate loss of life or long-term damage to the police public relations, potentially driving more individuals to sympathize with Naxalites. So, third question is, which of the option do you think would be more appropriate for Rohit to adopt and why? Engaging in negotiation, देखो, which of the option do you think would be more appropriate? तो अपन तो वही डिस्कस अपन नेगोशिएशन में बिलीव करते हैं, जैसे कि चाइना के साथ क्या होता है वही है, नेगोशिएशन से डील करते हैं। इंगेजिंग इन नेगोशिएशन एंड नॉन लिथल क्राउड कंट्रोल, दिस ऑप्शन इज मोस्ट अप्रोप्रिएट बिकॉज इट मिनिमाइज द रिस्क ऑफ सिविलियन कैजुअलिटी एंड preserve law an order without the use of excessive force. Negotiating with the tribal woman to explain the legal and more moral aspect of harboring insurgents can help by time for enforcement to arrive. Diffusing the tension, non-lethal crowd control measures, if needed, can be deployed to avoid escalation loss of life. This approach allows Rohit to maintain the ethical responsibility of protecting the civilian while fulfilling his duty to arrest the insurgents. The fourth question is, in the present situation, what are the extra precautionary measures to be taken by the police dealing with women protesters? Avoid use of force against women, female police personnel deployment, use of non-lethal measures, respect for cultural sensitivities, documentation of event. Rohit should ensure all actions taken are well documented, as this will provide accountability and transparency if the situation escalates or legal challenge arise later. Clear communication, continuous efforts should be made to communicate the intent of law enforcement, emphasizing the need for law and the order while respecting the protester concerns. Now, this next question is, like Sneha is a senior manager, is working in a big reputed hospital chain, and like she was made in charge of a new specialty center, and the hospital is building with the state of art equipment and class. अब उसको बिल्डिंग हैज बीन रिकंस्ट्रक्टेड एज सी इज स्टार्टिंग द प्रोसेस ऑफ प्रोक्योरमेंट. मतलब ये है कि जो सिन्हा है उसको मेड इन इंचार्ज कर दिया गया एक हॉस्पिटल का, और वहाँ पे अब उसको इक्विपमेंट खरीदने हैं उस हॉस्पिटल के लिए. तो वो हॉस्पिटल में वो इक्विपमेंट है वो टेंडर निकालेगी, जो लोएस्ट बिड होता है जनरली वो इसको प्रायोरिटी दी जाती है, लेकिन ये काइंड ऑफ प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल है तो उसके लिए ऐसा उसको स्नेहा के लिए कोई कंपलसरी नहीं है कि वो लोएस्ट बिड को ही दे. अब प्रॉब्लम ये है कि स्नेहा का भाई है वो भी मतलब इस बिडिंग का पार्ट है और स्नेहा के भाई को पैसों की बहुत ज़रूरत है. अब ये काइंड ऑफ स्टोरी हो गई उसकी एस्पायरेंट वेब सीरीज़ की. जैसे कि इसमें उसका दोस्त होता है वो टेंडर निकालता है और उसको पता चलता है कि कुछ पहले वाले टेंडर में इशू था. तो बस वही चीज़ है, सेम टू सेम स्टोरी है. I think the question paper maker also see the web series of aspirant and he have thought this idea. So let's get into the question. What was this? What should be the Sneha's course of action? Sneha should prioritize as the I forget the aspirant web series, the main leader name, main actor name. अविनाश was it ना? I think अविनाश था उसका नाम भी. तो स्नेहा अविनाश is similar. What वो जो उसने किया था वो यही करता है, लेकिन उसमें आरोप लग जाते हैं वैसे. वैसे उसको यही करना चाहिए था कि उसको रेस्क्यू हरसेल्फ फ्रॉम द डिसीजन. उसको भी यही करना चाहिए था, उसको ये डिसीजन उसको उसने लेकिन डिसीजन ले लिया, इसने वही प्रॉब्लम कर दी थी उस वेब सीरीज में. तो ये पढ़ते हैं चलो. रेस्क्यू हरसेल्फ फ्रॉम द डिसीजन, द मोस्ट एथिकल कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन is for Sneha to rescue herself from the procurement decision related to her brother's bid to avoid any conflict of interest. This would prevent any perception of favoritism and protect her integrity. सेकंड इज कंडक्ट अ ट्रांसपेरेंट इवोल्यूशन. अब उसने अविनाश ने ये कर लिया था, उसने इवोल्यूशन करवा दिया था. इफ तो ये नहीं करना होता है वैसे, आंसर में तो लिखना पड़ेगा, पर ठीक है आप कर सकते हो. Conduct a transparent evaluation. If she chooses not to be rescue herself, she must ensure that the evaluation process is completely transparent, following objective criteria like quality, reliability, post-sale service, and cost effectiveness. She should involve a third-party review. Even the important हो जाता है. She should involve a third-party review or an independent committee to assess the bids. Full disclosure to management. Sneha should inform the hospital management about her brother's involvement in bidding process. This transparency will protect her from any future accusations of bias. How would she justify what she choose to do? Okay, what is this? Recusal. If Sneha chooses to rescue herself, she can justify this by emphasizing her commitment to maintaining ethical standards and avoiding any conflict of interest. By stepping aside, she ensures that integrity of the procurement process is preserved and no question of the bias arises. Transparency. If she decides to stay in the decision making process, she should justify her by choice, ensuring that pre-devolution perspective based solely on merit and value to the hospital. She can justify this by showing that her brother's company provided the best offer in terms of quality service and price, and that her decision was backed by the management and an independent review. Ethical accountability. Regardless of her choice, Nia should emphasize the importance of transparency and ethics in her leadership role. She can explain that her actions were taken to avoid any conflict of interest and to ensure hospital procurement was conducted professionally. In this case, how is the medical ethics compromised with vested personal interest? There is a conflict of interest. Is there avoiding the contract to her brother's company without a transparent and competitive process would represent a clear conflict of interest. It would undermine the fairness of procurement decisions, which are meant to benefit the hospital and its patient, not personal connections. Compromise patient care. The primary goal of the healthcare institution is to provide the best possible care. Choosing a vendor based on personal interest rather than on the merits of the bid could lead to substandard medical equipment, potentially harming patient care. Damage to trust. Medical ethics require healthcare professionals to act with integrity, prioritizing patient welfare and the public interest over professional gain. Sneha's decision, if influenced by family's ties, would tarnish her reputation and her trust that the hospital management, staff, and patient would place in her. By prioritizing transparency and fairness, Sneha ensure that medical ethics are upheld and the procurement decisions serve the best interest of the hospital and its patient. सो 11th क्वेश्चन है, अ, ये यही क्वेश्चन है कि समर्स है, बहुत गर्मी हो रही है, तो जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर है उसको पानी की किल्लत से आगे आने वाले प्रॉब्लम्स को उसको अवॉइड करना है, तो उसने क्या किया है, उसने जो फार्मर्स को, तो उसने ऐसा मतलब नोटिस इशू किया कि जो डीप बोरवेल है वो बंद कर दिया जाए और जो फार्मर्स फार्मर्स जो वहाँ से पानी निकाला है वो खत्म कर दिया जाए, मतलब वो अलाउ नहीं किया उसने। तो इससे फार्मर्स लोग है वो एजिटेट हो गया, उन्होंने बोला कि आप हमें तो मना कर रहे हो लेकिन जो इंडस्ट्री वाले हैं उनका जो जो है वहाँ जमीन से पानी निकाल रहे हैं गहरे से, तो उनको तो आप अलाउ करो, हमको बंद कर दिया। तो इट कुड लीड टू द प्रोटेस्ट। और अगर उसने अगर उनको बंद कर दिया, the farmers alleged that their administration is anti-farmer and corrupt, being bribed by the industry. The district needs to placate the farmers as they are threatening to go on a prolonged protest. At the same time, the district collector has to deal with the water crisis. The industry cannot be closed as this would result in large number of workers being unemployed. So discuss the all option available to the district collector as a district magistrate. So what are the options available to district collector? These are the options. Equal enforcement of water restriction. The district collector can ensure that the water users restriction apply equally to both farmers and industries. This would demonstrate fairness and address the perception of bias toward industry. चलो ये एक मतलब हो सकता है decision, but I don't think it is right decision. Regulation of industrial water uses. The collector can work with ethic industries to limit their water uses, implementing a strict water management policy. Industries can encourage to use recycle or implement water conservation technology to reduce their dependence on groundwater. अच्छा आइडिया है. Provide temporary water solution to farmers. Short term solutions like providing alternate water sources through tankers, अभी tankers का मुझे समझ में आया, और promoting the use of drip irrigation, ये अच्छा आइडिया है, could be offered to help farmers to save their crop with minimal water. Another thing they can do is promote crop diversification and alternate livelihood, encouraging farmer to diversify to less crop water intensive crops like millets during the summer month, or providing temporary employment in industries could ease their reliance on irrigation. ये अच्छा area. Engage in dialogue with farmer. The collector should meet with farmer representative to explain the severity of the water crisis, clarify the efforts being taken to conserve water, and demos- demonstrate that industries are also being held accountable. Water rationing for industry. The district collector could consider rationing water for industries while allowing limited irrigation for farmer, striking a balance between both stakeholders. What suitable actions can be taken in view of mutually compatible interest in the stakeholders? Fair enforcement of water restriction. Encourage water efficient practices. For industries, the collector can incentivize the adoption of water recycling, rainwater harvesting, and reuse of wastewater. For farmers, promoting efficient irrigation methods like drip and sprinkler irrigation can reduce water consumption while protecting crops. Engage in transparent communication. The collector should organize a regular meeting with both farmer and industry representatives, presenting data on the district's water reserve and the need for conservation. This transparency can build trust and reduce tensions. Government support schemes for farmer. The administration can provide farmer with subsidies for water efficient technology, financial aid for crop loss, or low interest loans to help them to tide over the crisis without a large scale water use. Creating alternative employment. The administration could provide temporary employment for farmers in local industries or government projects, reducing their dependence on irrigation for income. Yeah, this is a good idea. Long-term solution. The collector can initiate long-term water management plans such as constructing rainwater harvesting structure or promoting groundwater recharge system to prevent such crises in the future. What are the potential administrative and ethical dilemmas for the district collector? So balancing competing interests. This is the ethical dilemma that he is facing. Alleging for corruption, allegations of corruption and bias. The allegation from farmers that the administration is biased toward industries present an ethical dilemma. The collector must address these claims through transparent action to maintain public trust and credibility. Short-term versus long-term solutions. The collector must choose between implementing short-term measures to placate farmers and industries or focusing on long-term sustainable water management. Prioritizing short-term solutions may solve the immediate problem but could lead to the future crisis. Water right versus environmental conservation. The dilemma of whether to prioritize the farmers' right to water for crops or to conserve water for the broader public good, including drinking water, creates an ethical conflict between individual rights and collective welfare. ये भी अच्छा है, individual rights versus collective welfare. Social stability versus crisis management. If the water restriction lead to the protest, it may destabilize the district. However, compromising on water conservation could lead to more severe water shortage, creating an ethical dilemma to short-term social peace versus long-term crisis management. Yeah, in conclusion, district collector must weigh economic, social, and environmental factors carefully to ensure water conservation while protecting the interest of all stakeholders by fostering transparency, fairness, and long-term planning. ये सब words है ना ethics में बहुत important हो जाते हैं. Transparency, fairness, long-term planning. The situation can be handled effectively. And now this effectively also important. The last question is about Dr. Srinivasan is there, and like he's working in a biotechnology company, and now there's a virus which is the spreading throughout the world. और अगर अब श्रीनिवासन टीम है वो उस वायरस पे वर्क कर रही है, लेकिन अभी तक उनके पास मतलब इतना डेटा और सब चीज़ें है नहीं, तो कंपनी चाहती है कि आप कंपनी चाहती है कंपनी चाहती है कि वो फर्स्ट मूवर एडवांटेज इन द मार्केट ले सके. सो उन्होंने टीम मीटिंग सम सीनियर टीम मेंबर्स सजेस्ट दैट सम शॉर्टकट्स फॉर एक्सपीडिएटिंग द क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स फॉर द ड्रग एंड मतलब वो चाहते हैं कि वो गलत तरीके से डेटा मैनिपुलेट करके और कुछ नेगेटिव आउटकम्स को एक्सक्लूड करके और सिलेक्टेड जो पॉजिटिव आउटकम उनको सिलेक्टिवली रिपोर्ट करके वो गलती से जो अप्रूवल चाहिए वो ले ले रॉन्ग डेटा देकर. तो अब श्रीनिवासन है वो उस चीज़ को लेकर कंफर्टेबल नहीं है टेकिंग सच शॉर्टकट्स. एट द सेम टाइम ही रियलाइजेस मीटिंग द टारगेट्स इज इम्पॉसिबल विदाउट यूजिंग दिस मीन्स. नाउ व्हाट वुड यू डू इन such a situation? So if I were in Dr. Srinivasan's position, I would resist the pressure to take shortcuts and uphold the integrity of the research process. My course of action would involve refusing to manipulate data, adhering to ethical clinical trials, रिजेक्टिंग पेटेंट इन्फ्रिंजमेंट. उसमें ये भी था कि हाँ वो जो मतलब इन्होंने क्या किया था कुछ कंपोनेंट थे वो अदर अदर कंपनी के लिए ले लिए थे अपने ट्रायल में, उन्होंने खुद का कुछ नहीं किया. तो रिजेक्टिंग हाँ patent infringement, I would avoid using patented compound from rival companies. Instead, I would push for the team to continue developing original component even if it take more time. Communicating with stakeholder, I would communicate openly with both my team and the company leadership about the ethical concern. I would advocate for the balanced approach, prioritizing patient safety and scientific integrity or rushing to the market. Seeking external review. If internal pressure becomes too great, I would seek an external review of the research process to ensure transparency and accountability. What are the examine your options and consequences in the light of ethical question involved? So option one, if I proceed with ethical research, then consequences will be the drug development may be slower and the company may lose the first mover advantage in the market. However, by conducting ethical research, the integrity of the research process is upheld, patient safety is ensured, and the reputation of the company remains intact. Ethical questions involved. Is it right to prioritize patient safety and scientific integrity over a short-term market gain? Yes. The primary responsibility of pharmaceutical companies and the researcher is to ensure public health and safety, not just profit. Manipulate data and cut corners. Consequences: the drug could reach the market faster, giving the company an edge. However, if the negative outcomes are hidden or data is manipulated, the drug may have foreseen harmful effects leading to public harm, lawsuits, and the tarnished reputation of the company and researchers. Ethical question: is it ethical to manipulate data for financial companies? No. Manipulating data compromises the core principle of scientific research, endanger public safety, and violate professional ethics. सेम सिमिलर ही है, मतलब इसको उल्टा कर दिया. Use patented compound from rivals. Is it ethical to infringe on rival intellectual property of the personal gain? No. Violating patent disrespect the work of other researchers and undermines fairness in scientific competition. The company could face legal challenges and potentially lose credibility in the scientific community. Using patented compounds without permission violates intellectual property laws and stable innovation. Communicate and negotiate timelines. Consequences: openly communicate with stakeholders about the challenging in meeting timeline may lead to extended deadlines. Though the company may lose some competitive advantage, this approach ensures ethical and compliance and help maintain long-term trust. Ethical question: is it ethical to provide transparent information? Yes. Transparent foster trust. ठीक है. How can data ethics and drug ethics, now these are two terms, data ethics and drug ethics, save humanity at large in such a scenario? Data ethics. Ethical handling of data ensures the accuracy. These are the words: accuracy, reliability of scientific research. By adhering to strict data ethics, researchers avoid manipulating or selectively reporting results, which can prevent the release of unsafe and ineffective drugs. In this case, ethical data practices would safeguard public health by ensuring that only truly tested, proven treatment are approved for use. Misrepresentation of data could lead to widespread harm, loss of life, and public mistrust in the healthcare system. Drug ethics. Drug ethics, which include following proper clinical trials and protocol, obtaining informed consent, and respecting the intellectual property, protect patient safety and promote fairness. By adhering to drug ethics, pharmaceutical companies ensure that drugs are developed responsibly without exposing participants or broader public to unnecessary risk. In the context of rapidly spreading disease, ethical drug development becomes even more critical because shortcuts could lead to release of harmful drugs, accelerating the crisis rather than resolving. ये भी आप इस इशू को देखो तो ये भी अपनी पब्लिक लाइफ से इन्वॉल्व है. जैसे फर्स्ट केस था वो JNK का था. इस केस में जो अभी जो रिजल्ट आए थे कि मतलब which is the vaccine, this is Covishield, I think. The vaccine, those who have taken the Covishield, they have that uh, chances of more of heart attack. So this was the news ना. तो उससे रिलेटेड ही क्वेश्चन है. तो वही है. In summary, data ethics and drug ethics help prevent harm by ensuring that drugs are safe, effective, and develop responsibility. This principle preserve the trust between the healthcare provider, researcher, and the public, which is crucial for maintaining the integrity of medical field and protecting public life. तो यहाँ पे अपना GS4 है वो खत्म हो जाता है. तो आई होप दिस वीडियो और जितना भी अपना जो चीज़ पढ़ी है वो आपको हेल्पफुल हो. इसमें से आप बहुत सारे टर्म्स है अपने आंसर राइटिंग में, इसको आप यूज़ कर सकते हो. और यही है. तो ये GS4 तो खत्म हो गया है. तो वी विल डिस्कस अनदर थिंग इन नेक्स्ट वीडियो. तब तक के लिए थैंक यू.